Welcome back, everyone. Tonight we're at round 5 of Thursday night. Today we have a one-shot quali followed by a 25% race and a reverse 25% race. Just gonna check the standings quickly. In first place we do have Crossfire. In second place we have Joffrey. In third place we've got Spudfire. In fourth, Ginge. Fifth is me, but I've stopped racing. Sixth is Cavalier. Seventh is Hathan. Eighth is Cookie. Ninth is Wild Dog. 10th is Scouse Cookie. 10th is Jack's Gaming. 12th is K-Man. 13th is Steven here. 14th is Fat Kid. 15th is Alpha. And 16th is Hyper Marley. The rest of the guys will be reserves tonight. And the constructors, we have Red Arrow Racing in first with Overtakers F1 team in second, Fatbird F1 team in third, fourth is Glacier Autosport F1 team, fifth we've got Wild Spud, sixth Peter Griffin Motorsport, seventh we've got Cavalis and Stevie's team, eighth is Field Up, and ninth is Wheel to Wheel Motorsport. Bit of a tongue twister that. But was waiting for everyone to apply their setups. And here we go into one-shot quali. And well, my pole prediction is probably going to be Crossfire, but we also have a numerous lap possible to find it. There we go. So yep. It's a one-shot quali followed by a 25% and a reverse 25% race about Singapore. So it'll be very hard for the second race for everyone to overtake within the 25% race lap. As we can see, everyone's fighting positions because the grid is very close among each driver. This track is very tight, as we can see, within this section it will be very hard to overtake. So there's not many overtaking zones for the drivers, but they are very good. So we have to see what kind of overtakes these guys can do. We don't have many laps to do it, and not many overtaking zones. Anyway, we have Crossfire coming across the lines at 35.9. Very nice pole position by the championship leader. We had 2 drivers disqualify themselves from going outside of the track limits. Nice prediction by Adam to cross the die in both races. Could be a very strong possibility, as we know it's very tight. But we do have Crossfire in P1, followed by Big Bowls in P2, with Galgro and iLinks Peace on the row 2, with Ginge and Jammy J on row 3, with Joffrey and Megilep in row 4, with Bids and Wild Dog in row 5, with Cavalis and Hafen in row 6, with Fat Kid and K-Man in row 7, with Sausage Joe by himself at the back of the grid on row 8. But as we know, Cavalis, Haven, Fat Kid, K-Man and Sausage Joe will be starting off fresh tyres, with Joffrey starting on the mediums inside of the top 10. Very close grid between top 2, and then everyone else is pretty close with each other. If you just wait for the counter to go down to enter into the first 25 places, and just another reminder is that the second race is a reversed race. With my prediction for this first race is probably going to go Crossfire P1. I'm going to go with Kevin P2, the top 2 not changing, and then I'm going to go with an ambition with Joffrey gaining the last podium position, with the driver of the day going to Sausage Joe. As we all know, Sausage Joe is a very complete driver. So we'll just see what these guys can do after the lap of the formation. Only 15 laps, so that's going to be 13 maximum laps with DRS. So there's not many laps for these guys to get the overtakes in. So they have to be careful, but do them very promptly. Going into the race results, we can see from last week we had Crossfire in P1, Joffrey in P2 and Big Bowls in P3. That's 3 at the day. Where I went to Joffrey as he went from P11 to P1. It was a very nice drive from him. And he's starting P7 here, so let's see what he can do. And I also want to point out that if you do crash out of the session or retire in the pits, you won't get reversed for the second race. So it's just the only people that get reversed are people which managed to finish the race. So let's see what these guys can do into the first turn. As we know, the first turn is a very fast one, and it does tighten very quickly, so it's very hard to go side by side. So see what the front runners can do. And we get underway for the first race of this Singapore GP, and we do have Big Bowls into P1 with Galgo trying to dive him down inside of his teammate does go off track to avoid any damage, and we have Joffrey going side by side and getting the move. No, he's getting the move still side by side. We just get the move done going up before the long straight. We also do have a spin of Cavalis, and a Wild Dog has spun as well, so that's 2 drivers already spun in his 25% race. Both not looking good for those 2. And that is a VSC already. Let's just jump into position change. So we have the front 2 change positions, so Big Balls going into P1, Crossfire losing the position to Big Balls, and Galgo, Lynx and Ginch all keeping within the same position, with Joffrey swapping positions with Jamie and Bid swapping positions with his teammate of the reserve teammate of Lepping. We also stuck up 5 places off that start, with Fatkin came out up 2 places, with Hayden losing 1 place, and Cavalis and Wilder both spin out under the VSC. Do want this point, I forgot that Joffrey's the only one inside the top 10 which started in the mediums, then Sausage Joe, Fatkin, Cayman, Hayden and Cavalis all started on mediums outside the top 10. Looking to do medium softs in this race, as like will be faster with potential safety cars, but as I'm speaking we are now out of the VSC conditions, but there is another yellow flag as Cayman has retired. Oh, that's getting pushed into the wall. It's very unfortunate for Cayman. We'll have to move on further in the race, and plenty more laps to do within these guys. So it looks like everyone is just equally distant away from each other. And Beta's already got a 3-second time penalty within the first lap. The awkward thing with Kevin setting the fast lap of the GP already. Does look like the guys close to the back are very close within each other. But DRS won't be active until next lap, so there won't be many positions gained on this lap so far. But will Bids go for a move on Jamie J down this straight? Like Joffrey's going to try and go for the move on Ginger on the outside. Ooh, seems to back out of it. He doesn't want to get damaged too early on with this race, since there is still 13 laps left to go. And he's still on the medium tyres, so he's still on the better strategy. So there's no reason for him to push too hard yet. But we do have Karen out of the session and Wild Dog into the pit lane. But these guys are all very close to each other, so be careful not to hit each other and get any damage. Just the smallest bit of contact can send your end plate off, and you'll be losing plenty of time on each lap. Looks like the 2 reserve guys are going pretty hard at it. Just try not to get any damage, but I think it is very important to get your moves in as early as possible without holding yourself up too much. Looks like Hayden and Travis are battling it out for P12, and I've just missed out on Neglect. Looked like to make a small mistake, and Sausage Joe gets what she's done, and Joffrey has overtaken Joffrey's overtaken Ginge, and this has opened up Jamie to go around the outside of Ginge into turn 1. Oh, not much space given at all by Ginge there, and it allows Bids to overtake Jamie, does it, or does it not? Bids is trying to go down the outside of Ginge. What a move by Bids. Oh, I think 2 people through the first complex of corners. Crossfire stays behind Big Balls. Let's get back onto this move as we have Jamie J trying to go down the inside of Ginge into turn 4, I think it is. Turn 5 off 5. But still side by side. Very nice racing by these 2. And they're still side by side, but Jamie gets the move done eventually to get into P7. But we still have Sausage Joe right behind, but he's still trying to cover. Ginge covers him off, so he can't get the move done. And that's a stick behind until the next DRS, which is after the tunnel. We've also got Bids right behind Joffrey the Emo on the mediums. But he has to suddenly drop back a tiny bit, but Sasha is going down the inside of Ginge. He leaves plenty of space for him to go down the inside, and he gets the move done. Just be careful not to push Ginge into the wall, but he gets the move done before any contact could have been made. Very nice move by Sausage Joe on the medium compound tyres. Let's jump back up to Bids, who's trying to hunt down the American driver of Joffrey. He made a bit of contact with the wall, no damage done, just a bit of scraping with the wall. Might be struggling with tyre temperatures or just tyre wear for no the softs do die very quick on this track. But Joffrey does get a bad exit going very wide. It does allow Bids to stamp down DRS and DRS, but He thinks better of the move. But Sasha does get by Jamie. He goes very deep through the corner, but he does get the move done. Very nice move by him, just going slightly off track. And still going side by side. Let's jump back onto the battle between Bids and Joffrey. Bids gets passed Joffrey down through the DRS. This car does look very nice with the night lights of Singapore shining on the midnight blue. But as we see, there is still a very dark DRS train between these 5 drivers. We also look to see if Wild Dog has spun again. Very unfortunate for the Belgium driver. Looks like fucking also has damage. He's just got to be a bit careful of the driver behind him if he has got damage or if he hasn't got damage. Oh, and Jamie J has retired. Where's that happened? That's going to be a full safety car. Looks like everyone's going to be pit on their strategy now. It's very unfortunate for Jamie J. But he's now out of the first race. But as I just said, there's still another 25% race still to go. Let's see what the front guy is going to do. Preferably pit onto the medium compound tyres to get their mandatory pit stop done. See if they can do that. As we see, Big Balls pit with Crossfire staying out. So interesting from him. As you do have to make a mandatory pit stop, but Dalgo pits. iLinks also pits with Bids also pitting. Joffrey comes behind them going on the softs, but Ginge is staying out, so is Sausage Joe. The softs could last to the end. Cavalis will stay out. Hayfield also stays out. Fat Kid is going to come into the pit lane. You also say that Wild Dog has just got ahead of the safety car to be able to get ahead. Mega Epic also stays out. And Wild Dog has just pitted, so he'll be staying out when he manages to catch up to the safety car queue. Looks like Fat Kid did have a front wing change as he has pitted, and Wild Dog has got a 3-second penalty under safety car conditions. Not the best scratch him head there. As we now just got to slowly wait for the driver of Wild Dog to get back into the queue. I want to also point out that within this safety car we do have Crossfire, who has regained P1 since Kevin has pitted, but he has not lost any positions as he's still in P1. And we've got Sausage up 13 places so far. Very good start by him, with Ginge up 2 places, Kevin down 2 places, but he's first within the ones who's pitted. And Cavis up 6, Haytham up 6, Galgo down 4, Alex down 4, Bids has not gained or lost any positions, with Joffrey down 3, Megalep down 3. Fat Kid up 1 and Wild Dog down 3, but the ones who has pitted, everyone has pitted apart one in the top 3, I think. No, that's wrong. The top 3 have pitted, and also 5th and 6th have pitted. So Big Balls is in a prime position, as he only has to take 2 people to gain back up to his race rival, and he also has made his mandatory pit stop, and his mediums will last the end of the race relatively easily. Just Joffrey's gone to the hards, but he looks like he's going to pit back onto the mediums or onto the softs. Let's just see what he does. He's not going to lose that many places, he's only going to lose 2 places during this pit stop, and he's going to go back onto the medium compound tyres. Will he come out ahead of his teammate, or will he just lose to 1 place? Looks like he'll come out ahead of his teammate. So that pit stop hasn't really cost him any time at all. Just got to be careful of the white line, so we'll get a warning for crossing the white line. We're still waiting for Wild Dog to catch back up to the grid as he is in sector 3, while Safety Car Q is now into sector 2. So looking at the tyres, we have fact is, it's pitted onto the sausage, I didn't realise, so he'll be ambitiously trying to make them last in the race. They've only got to last 9 laps, with some of it under safety car conditions, so he's got a good chance of making them last if he's good on his tyres. But there's still 5 drivers left to pit. It's going to be interesting to see what happens between those guys. Let's just go through the warnings of the top 2 guys. So Crossfire's got 1 warning. Sausage Joe's on 0 warnings. Ginge also on 0 warnings, with Big Balls on 0 warnings. Cavalice also on 0 warnings. Hexfin's on 2 warnings. Galgro's got a warning plus a 5-second time penalty. Alex has got 1 warning. Bids has got 3 warnings within that first lap, which got a penalty, and he's also got a 5-second time penalty. Megalep's on 0 warnings. Joffrey's on 0 warnings. Wild Dog, he's got a penalty plus 2 warnings, so he's 1 warning away from penalty. Looks like Fat Kid's on 1 warning, and Jemmy J has retired, and so has K-Man. So Crossfire has got a warning, but he's now leading the safety car in, as the safety car is in this lap. Let's see if Sausage Joe can attack Crossfire on the safety car restart. But we'll jump onto Big Balls as he's on the fresh mediums. And there we go, his Crossfire has gone. And it's not just me, it's like rain coming down. There is rain in the Singapore Grand Prix. So actually, Crossfire and them have done the perfect strategies. They will just be able to pit onto Inters in a few laps time. Let's see what Big Balls can do. Is he gets a switch back on Gingy and gets the move done on his teammate. But right now, Sasha has got the better tyres, as the mediums are a lot more alive. But with the rain coming down, the softs will be able to keep their heat in the tyres longer. So it'll be an interesting couple of laps until the Inters become faster. This has very badly damaged Big Balls' race, but he's still within them. So he has just lost 2 places right now, as it was in the net race lead. It's like Judge has lost a bit of time, so he has damage or he's struggling with the wet conditions, but Bids gets past Cavalis. It's very... he's got to stick on this battle right now, as Crossfire softs are dying with Sausage Joe on the used mediums, and Big Ball on fresh mediums, so it's getting very interesting within what these guys are going to do. Like Big Ball backs out of that move with Joffrey getting past Hatefin, and Wild... oh, there's yellow flag for Hatefin. Must have made a small mistake. Oh, and the track's got very wet very quickly. So, Hatefin has retired. Is that going to be a safety car? Is it just going to be a yellow flag? And it's a full safety car, so all the drivers are going to be put onto the inter-compound tyres on this lap. With Crossfire basically in the race lead still. It's a very nice strategy from the championship leader. But very stupid if they don't pit now, as it is very wet now. As they rightfully should do. And I'll also get the 5 seconds off. He's got 5 seconds. Bids, Galgro, Joffrey, Wild Dog should all get their 5 seconds removed, as everyone is in the pits for inter-compound tyres. So I'm getting held up. Yes, Wild Dog is getting held up by his teammate in the pit lane. It's very unfortunate for him. It looks like the only one who's getting held up by his teammate. Looks like Bid's got his 5 second removed. Stop. Many other drivers getting their 5 second removed. Also, Joffrey got held up by his teammate, but Ginger's been disqualified for illegal blocking. Got no ideas what happened there, but it looks like Ginger has been disqualified for illegally blocking someone coming out the pit lane. That's very unfortunate from the driver. The safety car will be in this lap, as everyone should catch up to the safety car within this lap. The Cavalice has got past us still within the pit lane. That's a very nice pit lane pit story for him, as he's now up into the podium place positions. As he's now up 8 places, and that's actually up 11 places. I also want to point out that the points are slightly different, with P1 getting 40 points. And just to check, the Biz has got a 5 second penalty for a severe collision with iLinks. but Alex didn't get one. Good for him. Like I said, there's 40 points for P1, 32 for P2, and like 26 for P3. So the points are slightly different to encourage more people to finish the race, just to give people a bit more motivation. Ooh. Looks like Safety Car's going to be out for one more lap with Bid hitting. Very strange, but he might just be getting his 5-second removed. Oh no, he's actually got front wing damage. Maybe with that collision with Alex Peter, the reserve driver. Getting his 5-second removed, getting a new front wing. Just recompose himself with Wild Dog. He's got no front wing. Hitting. With also that kid who's also pitting. Don't know what's happened there, but it's like both drivers have had a bit of contact, as both of them have no front wing. So right now the only penalties drivers have is Alex on a 5, Bids on a 3, Fat Kid on a 3, and Wild Dog on a 6-second penalty. With everyone on the into compound tyres. The safety car is in now. With Fat Kid has spun. Because I should just get past. So I should get past. Cavalier, sorry. With Bid's getting another 3-second time penalty. So he's looking to get past Big Bowles, with Joffrey getting past Megilepi behind. With Kobe and Fat Kid both gone. While like he's crashed out of the session, unfortunately, with Fat Kid in the pit lane. I should run to this battle for free, but looks like Galgo is overtaking Cavalier with Galgo just being careful on the back of Ironing's piece. Joffrey also getting a bit tangled up in this mix. They've been trying to get down the inside of him, but Joffrey managed to keep the move on the outside. Let's get the move. Keeps the move on Bids, sorry. looks like Sasha has got a lot more speed than Big Balls right now. Just down the inside, but not much space given by Big Balls there. But it's very hard corner to go side by side though. It looks very wet with 5 laps remaining. Also looks like Crossfire is running away with the race, with Mega Leppy unfortunately has spanned from behind with Fizz getting past Cavalis. Very unfortunate for Cavalis as he was up in P3 and then in the same turn he's lost a lot of positions suddenly. It's very unfortunate for him. Right, man. Bit tired. Astro is hunting down the back of Big Balls right now. We just look very wet right now. Also, taking everyone is relatively evenly parked right now. I think just relatively right behind the back of Joan. Looks like Fat Kid has gone into the escape road. Back a bit late, he's a minute behind. Mega Leppy, who's fifth, almost getting lapped. Very weird by Fat Kid, never normally having a bad race like this. Anyway, moving on from that site. Jump onto the back of one of the reserves of Arlink's piece. But Big Balls has closed the gap up to Crossfire, is now in DRS range, but as we know it's in wet conditions so there will be no DRS, but it's within the 1 second gap. But it just like Crossfire isn't using any ERS, he's on 100%. In fact, pitting is under risk of getting lapped by the race leaders with 4 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Looks like Big Balls is catching up to the back of Crossfire, but like I said before, Crossfire is saving his ERS. Even though there is only 4 laps left, and that is Fat Kid getting lapped. Luckily he ghosted as he did go straight into the back of Sausage Joe. Right now we do see Gargo right behind the back of Arlink's piece. Arlink just is trying to use a lot of his ERS to stay in front, and he manages to keep the place. But now as it being wet, there's no DRS anymore, so it will be very hard to make any moves. But Kid does need to get out of the way on the wet compound tyres. Also, so Galgo is right behind the back of Arlink, just trying to get by. Can't make the move done yet. A yellow flag. Bit confused why there's a yellow flag. Oh! Potentially might understand why there's a yellow flag, as Cavalis has just spanned straight into the wall and lost his full front wing, with Arlink's piece getting a time penalty. Very unfortunate for him. It's back up to the back of Big Balls for now, as he's trying to hunt down the race leader for the race win, with the race leader still on 100% ERS. But he's now using ERS as Big Balls has got up within half a second of him. There's a gap between P4 and P7 right now. And there's another yellow flag. Whereas Cavendish and Cavendish and Thatcher both pit. Something like that. Still no real changes, but Joffrey, Galgro and Ilinks are all very close to each other with bids right behind Joffrey. With 2.5 laps left, it looks like Crossfire, Big Balls and Sasha are having a comfortable podium position with Sasha up 12 places. It's a very nice race for him. But I think just make a small mistake. Will this allow Galgro to get a move on the back of the reserve driver of Alex Peace to try to go down the inside, but he thinks better of it to not get any damage this late in the race, as it will ruin his last couple of laps. So Big Bids does get a bit out of shape at the exit there, but he managed to save it. With the front three look very evenly apart, or within a second, but not close enough to make a move yet. But these four are all very close within each other. Just gotta be careful not to hit any walls, not hit each other. Just in general, just keep it nice and careful within these wet conditions, as it's still raining. It's not raining as much as it was before, but it still is raining. So you've got to be careful of not overheating the tyres. Just be careful to not stick on the dry line too long, it might overheat the tyres, and then if you overheat the tyres, you'll be likely to spin or get a lot of understeer. But Galgro is 2.5 tenths behind Alex Peace. Is he going to go for the move or not? He made a small mistake back then. He's not close enough to make a move yet. He's on to lap 14, so there's only, well, 1.5 more laps of this Grand Prix. So if any of these guys are wanting to make a move, it is going to have to be quick, with a yellow flag of Fatkids hitting the wall again in sector 3. Unfortunate for him. Oh, and Bids get out of shape again. Looks like he's struggling in these conditions with his car, but managed to save it and not lose too much time as he stays within the 1 second mark of each other. Bids getting another 3 second time penalties. Kind of check the penalties now. Going to the last lap, so we've got Alex on 8 seconds. He's going to drop down to P6. With Bids on 9 seconds, won't affect the final order unless he makes an overtake, and Thatkids off 3 seconds, but he's a lap down. So 1 lap left. Let's jump onto the back of Big Balls as he's trying to hunt down the back of Crossfire, but Crossfire is getting a very commanding win right now. If he does keep it like this under the wet conditions, but he's man of his own under the wet conditions. Joffrey getting a 3 second time penalty. It's not going to help him at all. But let's stick on within this battle. But so Big Balls is not close enough. So let's jump onto the back of Galgro and Ilinks, as Galgro is in that P4, but so should have Fatkids are hitting the wall again. Galgro doesn't have to push too hard, as he will get P4, but Alex is deep. Like I said, Galgro's taking it careful not to make any mistakes to cost him the position, because like is a second ahead of Big Balls now in a very commanding win. This is pretty much the final of second spot, and no overtakes have been made. Let's jump onto the race leader and we'll watch him drive through the end of sector 3. He had not the best stint on the dry tyres, losing the place to Big Balls, but under the wet conditions, he's been a driver of his own, pretty much saving his ERS, always on 100% ERS, but always pushing big barrels out of the 1 second gap. But he comes across the line to take victory in that. Let's think about race 1 with big barrels in P2. Sasha up 12 places to get the final podium position. But Alex gets P4 on track, but he will have plenty of places with Galgro getting P4, Joffrey getting P5, Arling's getting P6, Abid's getting P7, Meggy Leffy will come home to get P8, Cavalis will come over to get P9, and Fat Kid will slowly come on the track to get P10. So that's been a very eventful race, but of course my driver of the day of today's race has to go to Sausage Joe, as it is an amazing race from him. Got up 12 places in this race with the wet conditions, but there was 2 safety cars to help them, but oh well. It's a very good race for everyone, to be honest, apart from the guys from DNF, but I don't know if that's their fault or not. Obviously making like a come across the line for P8 now. Still waiting for 2 more drivers to navigate the rest of the track. Harris comes across the line, was waiting for Fat Kid to finish the race. As we know, the top 10 will be reversed as they're the only guys to finish the race, so we'll see Fat Kid on pole for us by Cavalis, and we'll see Big Balls and Crossfight at the back try to fight them ways through. And there we go. So there we go. We see Crossfire in P1, Big Balls in P2, and Sosjo rounding out the top 3 with Galgo getting the fast lap of 139.0 in P4, then Joffrey in P5, Alex in P6, Bids in P7, Meggy Lep in P8, Cablis in P9, and Fat Kid rounding out the points in P10. And then the drivers which are DNF'd is Wild Dog, Gingy, Hatefen, Jammy, and K-Bag. So they won't be getting reversed, but I will be back when we start the race in the reverse 25% race. And here we go into the reverse 25% race here at Singapore. As we saw, Crossfire got P1 in the sprint race. He'll be starting the back of the finishers with Big Balls in P2 and Sausage Joe in P3. So those guys will be starting P9, P8, P7, and then we've got William on pole for this reversed race. With the DNFs at the back, so we have an interesting race to see what happens with some of the fast guys at the back. As we now just wait for the people to apply the setups, do the strategies, and get ready for this wet 25% race. And here we go with the predicted tyre strategy as a one stop on the Inters. I mean, 0 stop on the Inters. With the other strategies a one stop. But I think the majority of these guys will be start Fat Kid on pole with Cavalis alongside, with Megalep in P3, Biggs in P4, Alex in P5, and Joffrey in P6, Galgo in P7, Sausage Joe in P8, Big Balls in P9, and Crossfire in P10, with the DNFs of Wild Dog in P11, Hateful in P12, Jammy J in P13, K-Man in P14, and Jinshu got disqualified in race 1, who is starting on the back row of the grid in P15. Now, let's see what the back runners of the first race can do in the second race by starting further ahead in the race. We'll also have to be careful of the Big Balls, Crossfire, and the Sausage Joe coming through the grid from further back in the grid. Especially in these wet conditions, it's going to be a lot harder for the guys to overtake, but this will just show the skill level of everyone. As just got more skill, you'll be able to overtake in the wet, but it just will be a hard rest to do anything. If you do see a Wild Dog spin under the formation lap, to me that's not surprising, but it is Wild Dog. Looking to not get disqualified for falling too far behind the grid. Oh, and Cavalis and Fat Kid have been disqualified from the formation lap after making contact with each other. They'll be starting on cold tyres. It's not really good for them. It's going to be probably a very mass swarm into turn 1 now. Just have to see what happens. As now the rest of the drivers are coming through the last corner to line up on the grid. And here we go. Can't see the lights. There we go. 1, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights, and away we go now. Looks like Haitian gets a good time. Oh, and there's a massive pile up at the back of the grid. That's Ginge and Jamie both out of the session. With a multiple car pile up. I think that's mainly down to Megadeth not moving under the start of the race. As VSC been deployed. So fucking awesome. You got me, I've got a very bad start. But it's crossfire up to P4 under safety car conditions. And that will be a red flag. So we'll have to restart this race after that major collision at the start. So I'll be back when we get into the new lobby.